This week on 5 Brilliant Things, we have a bit of an exclusive. Someone that doesn't really do podcasts. He's an absolute comedy legend. It's Harry Enfield.
He was there and we went, "All right, Elvis." And he said, "Oh, yeah, hi, come and have a drink." We went and had a bottle of wine.
After watching him?
Yeah, and he told
Good
us all
God.
about what it was like in America. I dressed up as Harry Hill for a sketch. You know, I had the bald head and everything, sort of doing all that. And I looked exactly like Harry Hill, and people were bumping their car horns and going, "You all right, Harry?" And I'd go, "F off," like that.
Yeah.
Just so they thought I was a bastard. "Do you like to try my butterquims?" And she goes, "Don't mind if I do." And it's all heavily sexual.
Yeah.
It's such fun with
Oh,
Paul.
my God, it must
Because
be.
Paul's so, he's so good at being seedy.
Yes.
And I'm so good at being an ugly old woman.
Here we are, Harry Enfield. How are you?
Hello, Russell.
Hello.
Howard off of Good News.
Off of Good News.
Yeah, it's very nice to see you. We used to watch you religiously, me and my son.
I remember you telling me we sort of bumped into it, and it was your little, you'd watch Match of the Day,
Yes.
and then you'd kind of watch, it was the Saturday night show.
Yeah.
Well, they'd have a stand-up on as well.
Yes.
So he probably is quite well versed in all kind of like James Acaster,
Yeah,
Ramesh,
yes.
all that, yeah.
All that stuff.
All that
Yeah.
malarkey,
Yes.
yeah. And we join you days after you've been in Australia, and
I've
you
been-
are riddled with jet lag.
I am, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Yes, we were in Australia and New Zealand and Singapore. And I've never toured there before. I mean, you're a professional, so you do all that. It was very good fun.
It's the best. I think you get that kind of extra kick because they're like, "Oh my God, it's Harry Enfield. He's come all this way.
Yes, there's
it's
a
so amazing.
gratitude, isn't
Thank
it?
you." Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's sunny, and you know, you there's Bondi, and there's kind of sort of beautiful, you know,
Women.
nature, women, men
Yeah.
as well.
Men.
You see all sorts there.
Yes.
Extraordinary. I saw a bloke once in green shorts who I think was one of the most attractive things I've ever seen.
Really?
Just-
Oh, I know him.
You know him.
Yes, he was.
But you know when you
saw
see,
him.
you see someone, it's so dazzling
Yeah.
that it's irrespective. It's sort of like it wasn't sort of a gay thing or a
No.
straight thing. It was just like, look at that,
Look at that handsome fellow.
look at him and he was just jogging along.
Did you say you're really handsome?
I think I said it in my head.
Well,
you know what I
I
mean?
do that sometimes. I say you're terribly good looking. And I feel now I'm 64, I'm harmless. But actually, you know, obviously I'm not, because
It depends your sort of.
Jimmy Savile was,
Yeah.
you know, he soured it for us.
He did. Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't just be harmless as
Yes.
an old person
Yeah.
anymore.
What? I tell you what, it's bloody hard to be a gentle pervert these days. Like just.
Yes, but I'm not really a pervert.
No,
I
no, I'm
just
not
like
a-
to say, people, look at you with your lovely body and
Yes.
your green shorts.
Yes.
You look wonderful.
Well,
and
it's all
well
about
done.
tone. It's about tone, and it's also
Yeah.
about distance. Like if you're kind of right up close and you're kind of pointing at bits of them, then it's tough.
Young people are lovely, aren't they? They're
Yeah.
just, I mean, my children are in their 20s now.
Great.
I look at them, I just think they're beautiful, and all their friends. They've got so much energy, haven't they?
Yeah, it must be so exciting to be surrounded by, but also the conversations.
And they've all got the most marvellous beards, young men these days, haven't they? What a marvellous beard. you've
Yeah.
got. I'm very keen on facial hair.
Yeah, I've just got this image of you just sort of wandering around in awe of the world at the minute. It's
Yes.
lovely.
Well, when you're jet lagged, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Isn't it, really?
Exactly.
Whatever,
Now,
sure.
what is your first brilliant thing?
Punk.
Punk. Okay.
Yes.
So were you a punk?
Yes. Well, you see, punk happened at exactly that time then it needed to happen for me. I was 15,
Oh, great.
and I was at school with bigger boys, and they became my friends. I managed to say fuck in front. They didn't like the look of me, and they used to say fuck, you know, give them a rattle.
Is it a rattle, a fight, a punch?
No, just a rattle, because I was
Because you're a little
15,
baby. All right. It
and they
sounds
were
like,
17.
but it sounds like a Cockney phrase for a fight.
Yeah.
Don't it? Because like you
Well,
fancy a
that's
dance.
a clump.
Yeah, yeah.
A clump. Give me a clump.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Let's
they
have a
were all
little.
fucking hell, look at him, give me a rattle. And so I engineered so I could say fuck in front of the headmaster.
Right.
So I swore in front of the headmaster. And one of the other guys was there and went, oh, okay. And then the next day, he'd obviously told all the other bigger boys, and I was allowed to join their group. Wow. And then punk happened, and it was just like,
See-
wow, this is so cool. It was about, I remember the same term, Mao Zedong died, and then one of the Sex Pistols said fucking rotter on telly,
yeah.
and that was just brilliant. Everyone was thought it was the worst thing in the world.
But it must
and we
be
thought it was
so
fantastic.
it must have been so exciting.
Well, it was, because before that, it was all sort of, they weren't really singles, unless you were a teeny bopper. So there was like David Cassidy or stuff like that, Bay City Rollers, whatever. But they weren't singles. So you had to sort of wait 2 years for the next Pink Floyd concept album or Genesis and all this stuff. And of course, as a teenager, that's just boring, really. And then suddenly there was the Clash and the Pistols and the Damned, all these amazing groups coming out. It was really exciting. And we used to go and see them all the time. And then, they didn't get into a limo afterwards. They weren't a spec. They were in a little 100-seater venue. And they'd be at the bar afterwards. You go and chat to them. There's Glenn Matlock, who used to be in the Pistols, and there's Joe Strummer. You go, you all right, Joe Strummer? Fucking good gig.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. And they were lovely.
My uncle had a sort of like kind of a relationship with Joe Strummer just through having gone to like loads and loads of gigs.
Yeah.
That he'd sort of see him at Glastonbury and kind of, all right, Joe, and have a little bit of a chat. It must be.
He was nice, Joe. He was a lovely guy. And Paul is a very good friend of mine from the Clash.
Oh, wow.
Now, he's my daughter's godfather.
What is that like to have grown up on music like that and then they become
It's been
part
so
of the
long
family?
because
Right.
it's been like, I've known Paul since about 87, I think, 86, 87. And he's mainly been an artist since then, but he's still great. But it was a really exciting time. I loved it. I loved punk. My parents hated me, so I loved it even more.
Is there?
Play it really loud in your room all the time. And of course, it got me into reggae because that's what they were doing at the same time. There was a lot of that. And the whole anti-Nazi league and all that was all going. It felt like a very optimistic time, even though the world was in a terrible state. Britain was in a terrible state. But we had a real laugh. And then I remember it was the Queen's Silver Jubilee in 77. And we all got these Stuff the Jubilee posters from the Socialist Worker, I think, and went running around the streets of Horsham, which is south of Gatwick Airport, going Stuff the Jubilee and making everyone very cross. It was
That
fantastic.
must have been electric.
Yeah,
then
it was
as well.
so fun. We were just naughty little boys, but it was really fun.
But it's Naughty Little Boys with a soundtrack
Yeah,
that you can all sing along to.
Yeah, and I can still sing along to the whole thing. I
Yeah,
think.
of course.
So probably Oasis for you, was it, or Britpop sort of stuff?
Yeah, I think
when you
so.
were that age.
Does this happen? Does everyone get nostalgic for the music of their era? It must do, eh? Because
I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, I can listen. I don't listen to that much punk now.
No, but when you do, are you transported?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's what I like about
And
it.
what was good was it was a bit like alternative comedy when that started.
Yeah.
When I started, you just get up. You didn't have to audition for the BBC. You could get up in a small room and do it, and that was what was exciting. They were putting out their records, 500 or 100. They were just making them, putting them out, and then if they got a good review, then they'd print more, from the NME or something. And people like John Shuttleworth, that's how he started with Graham Fellows.
Yeah.
The Gordon is a Moron or whatever it was called. I've got a copy of that on Rabid Records, I think it was called. It was a green label, and then he got bought up by someone. Then it went to the big, but I've got one of the original copies. I've got all my original stuff.
Wow.
And I got a letter from Chrissie Hynde, a bit of hate mail, because I'd written something in the paper she didn't like, and she wrote to me and said, "I'm sperm of the devil."
Oh gosh.
And it was quite funny. And so I just wrote back and said, "I have literally kissed every word on your thing, and here's your plectrum that you threw off stage in 1979, and I caught it, and it had the Pretenders on it, Yeah. So I sent it back to her, and it was like,
And
"Oh, Chrissie Hynde hates me. That's so cool that she's even heard of me."
was there a letter back?
Yeah, we,
And then you
she was
became
great.
pals?
Yeah, she's lovely. I mean, we're not big, close pals, but we're I really like her. She's
I
great.
had breakfast with her in LA,
Yeah.
and it became apparent after I'd said about 15 minutes that she thought I was Stephen Merchant.
Really?
Yeah, but there was so
That's-
many parallels because she was so. How's the comedy going? I was going great, Chrissy Hine. She just saw me and was like, "Do you mind if I join you?" I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
of course." And
what did she do when she found out you weren't Stephen?
we just sort of had this kind of awkward sort of breakfast where we finished because we were kind of getting on. But it was one of the most peculiar moments of my life where she just sort of, after breakfast had finished, you're like, wow, that just happened.
Wow.
Yeah, just because me and Stephen, I look like a shrunken version. And because
don't know.
I do a wee bit, you know, and I was sat down.
Yeah, I guess you do. I've never really thought of that.
Yeah, it's
And your voice is...
similar.
No, it's not.
You don't think so? Stephen's a bit more like that, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got all that.
But to an American.
Can you fool people when you go down the street by putting on that accent you just did and fool them into thinking that you're...
I was Stephen.
Stephen.
A wizard.
And then you could be horrible, and then people say, you know, he's a fucking... Stephen Merchant's a bastard in real life.
Yeah.
I did that once with... I dressed up as Harry Hill for a sketch.
I can see that.
And we were sort of in Pinner or something.
Yeah.
Well, when you put Harry Hill's stuff on, you just become Harry Hill. You know, I had the bald head and everything, sort of doing all that. And I looked exactly like Harry Hill, and people bumping their, you know, hitting their car horns and going, "You're right, Harry." And I go, "Fuck off," like that.
Yeah.
Just so they thought I was a bastard.
Yeah, great. Well, that.
And I saw Harry and told him, I think everyone in Pinner hates you. I've been flicking V signs at them.
Yeah. Was there a particular kind of album that was yours that you just went...
Clash. Yeah. I mean, the first Clash album, it was like, what the fuck? And then that was recorded in about 24 hours, I think. Trying to think. Yeah, I mean, it was mainly the Clash for me. And then, you know, obviously, like London Calling became this massive album. But I just started university when that came out. And it was like, wow, you know, this is great. I'm in heaven. I love this place.
Was it that thing that if you were sort of dressed as a punk, you kind of hung out and you sort of knew, okay, that's my only tribe? But
Yeah, that's our tribe. And most of my friends were in Crawley. And but the problem with Crawley is it's like typical town planner thing, really, that Crawley was a new town built after the Second World War.
Yeah.
So there's a town centre, and then there's lots of little sort of villages within it. And in the 70s, it was a very violent time. You know, football was violent, and there was a lot of punching going on. So you'd have the Furnace Green punks, but then there'd be the Tilgate punks next door. And the Tilgate punks hated the Furnace Green punks. And the Furnace Green Teds, who lived literally next door to my friends, they hated the Furnace Green punks and everything.
Yeah.
There was a lot of running to the station and trying not to get bashed by someone. Yeah. You know, it was very violent. But and then there were the police who didn't like us either.
Yeah, it's all good. And then there was
They give you a thump.
Old people that can't really sort of differentiate between Teds and.
Well, we didn't mind old people because they were just didn't like us.
Yeah.
And we were like naughty. That was really fun. But I didn't really like the fashion punk, the whole King's Road and all that. That wasn't my.
Did you did you like badges, cut your jeans,
Yeah,
do the hair?
Little badges and stuff, and short hair, and the Buzzcocks, people like that. You know? Yeah, it was good. Also, they were all so nice. Like Elvis, I remember like going to see Elvis Costello in Brighton, and then he was there, and we were like, "All right, Elvis." And he said, "Oh yeah, hi, come and have a drink." We went and had a bottle of wine. You know, age 16.
Pre or post gig?
Post gig, had a bottle of wine.
After watching him?
Yeah, and he told
Good
us all
God.
about what it was like in America. He'd been to America for the first time. We're just sitting there, these kids, you know. And
That must have been one of the best nights of your life.
yeah, it was absolutely great.
Yeah.
And we'd left our mate Dave was outside. He'd gone to pick up the car and he thought we were coming straight out. Then an hour later, he was still there. He's going, "Where the fuck have you been?" "We've been with Elvis having a bottle of wine." "Fuck you. Take us home."
What's next?
Number 2 is, mopeds, really.
Okay.
My dad had one that we all used, me and my sisters used, and I used it to go to work. Then I forgot about them for about 20 years, and then I did a sketch with Kathy a slob sketch where we had a moped. We'd won the lottery, so we had all the luxuries in our council flat, and one of them was we'd ring for a takeaway, and the moped driver would come from our kitchen with the takeaway.
Yeah.
So that was the gag. So someone came along with a moped, and I was going, oh, moped, so much better by then. So, and I've had a moped ever since, and I've had a few nicked.
Yeah.
You know, and in fact,
That
like
must be awful though.
having them nicked.
Yeah, when
it's a fucking pain in the arse.
Yeah, because it's so easy and you just zip through London, and then
suddenly
someone's kidnapped your girl.
Yeah. And in fact, today I couldn't get in here because while I was in Australia, someone obviously tried to nick it. So they've done something.
Right.
It's still there, but they've done something to the lock.
Mm.
But the best nick I ever had, I think, was about 5 years ago, and I was pitching this programme to Shane Allen from the BBC, who was then at the Beeb, and he'd said, could I do like a history of BBC One?
Yes.
So I thought, no, I don't really have any ideas. And I thought, oh, yeah, actually I do. And we were sitting, it was COVID time, like end of COVID. So we met in a cafe in Primrose Hill. We're sitting outside that little cafe on Fitzroy Road.
Yes. Sam's.
Sam's,
Yes.
yeah, Sam's. And I've got my computer there, and I'm jabbering away what I'm going to do. And he's there, and suddenly there's this God almighty noise. And this scooter comes up on the pavement. The guy leans down with his hand and nicks my laptop, right, and goes off. And as he goes off, I recognise the scooter, and it's definitely the last one I had nicked, because there are hardly any of them. It's like a 350 Beverly 350 thing.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's my old scooter. It's the same year. So he's nicked my laptop and my scooter, this guy.
So he's gradually taken your life.
Yeah.
It's the slowest thing.
Well, then poor old Shane, he was so shocked. It's only a thing, isn't it? It's not. I wasn't shocked, but he was actually quite shocked. And then he had to commission the show.
Of course,
yeah.
And little did everyone know it was actually Paul Whitehouse on the moped.
Yeah, no. This was a proper man.
Yeah.
Not a spindly little Welshie.
What? Was that not frustrating?
Spurs supporter.
To lose all the stuff?
That's fine. You know what they're like these days, computers.
Yeah. Okay.
They all load it up to this and that.
Oh, that's
There's only a bit of
very
stuff.
Calm of you. I really liked that show. I thought it was really good.
Thank you.
That kind of history of the Beeb. It had a lovely through line as well. It was just
it was like a Adam Curtis thing.
Yes.
But he won't watch it.
Adam Curtis?
Yeah, he said, no, I'm not going to watch it. You're taking the piss out of me. I said, well, I'm not really. It's an homage.
Yeah, of course.
It's a fucking homage, Adam.
Yeah, exactly.
You
want to rattle?
Yeah, it's an homage, you fat prick.
What is your sort of do you have like a dream moped?
Yes, I've got it at the moment, and I don't like to say what it is. Well, it's called a medley, but the problem is, the reason it's my dream one is they're the least stolen, apparently.
Right. Why is that?
That's why it's it's only a 125, but it's 20 miles an hour everywhere in London, isn't it? But they're lovely things. And have you ever been to Vietnam?
Yes.
See. Like, it's amazing when you go. We were in Hanoi, me and my family, years ago, and huge roundabouts and no traffic lights anywhere. And we had this like guide called Lon, and he said, no, you just have to walk out in the middle of the road, and all the mopeds sort of just go by you. No one beeps their horn or anything. They just avoid you without even looking at you. And they just passed a law where they had to wear helmets for the first time, but they hadn't specified what the helmet was. So you see these sort of sweet, like, Vietnamese girls on their little moped, two of them on it with Mickey Mouse, like, caps and things like that. And, all this stuff. It was really uplifting, really.
And did you moped there?
No, I didn't, because I had, like, too many kids with me and all that, too, But I said to Lon, this is amazing. Everyone just avoids each other all the time. It looks like the safest. And how many people die a year on the roads? And he said, about 20,000.
Yeah.
20,000. Yeah. Oh, okay. Not that safe then.
Yeah.
I mean, his English might have been a little.
But there is a majesty to it. It's a bit like when you sort of see, have you been to India?
Yeah.
And it's that similar thing where it's just the zigzag.
Yeah, the pop.
Are you sort of tempted to do like a Harry on a moped sort of travel option?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't like being me on telly, really.
Really?
No, I like being characters, but
Yeah.
I've done one. It's just incredibly embarrassing seeing yourself. You know, it's like listening to yourself on answer phone as we used to in the old days. I hate the sound of my own voice.
And have you ever tried? So with the current tour, are you playing characters? Or...
Yes, I'm. Well, what I'm doing is going, hello, this is who I am, and blah blah blah, and this is where it came from.
Great.
So it's more autobiographical, and then we came up with this character, and then we did this, and then we did that. Would you like to see a bit of this character, and then I'll do a bit of Loadsamoney,
Yeah.
you know, slobs or whatever. So
How did you come
it's
up?
kind of everything.
How did it
Really.
happen though? Were you sort of when you come up with those characters? Do you see them, or are you spitballing
Sometimes,
it, or
yeah. So sometimes, I mean, the slobs came a bit, you know, exaggerating. Very nice people on the estate I lived on. Paul Whitehouse was a plasterer. Loadsamoney's a plasterer. You know, we had a Stavros round the corner from us, kebab shop, and you know, quite often they're people we know that we just take the piss. You know, or exaggerate them a bit. Yeah.
have you ever met any of those characters that became part of
It's
the show?
quite funny the amount of people who've said, people think I'm Tim Nice but dim.
Right.
They think that you based him on me.
Yeah, that's funny.
And they sort of grin at you. And you kind of think, yeah, could be. Hello.
Yeah, I've got a new picture. Charlie calls it a mirror.
Yeah.
I remember that. I used to love it. It was. So when you talk about punk, like your kind of, I would say Harry Enfield friend was that. You know, I sort of missed the Mary Whitehouse experience. It was a wee bit before that. So that was definitely But Smashy and Nicey, everyone coming in, doing the voices the next day.
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah,
That's
best.
what we wanted. Yeah.
Are they kind of?
It was a sort of thing of, right, okay, if we're going to do a sketch show, we got to do one, because the BBC has said, do you want to do a sketch? Well, we got to do one with catchphrases. We've got to get the teenagers, because the teenagers control the television. That was my sort of feeling, because at the time everyone just had one telly, and the teenagers said what was getting watched. So we'll do something for everyone else, but we've got to have stuff for the teens.
Yeah.
You know, and that's catchphrases, really.
So when you did the teenager character, that must have been very interesting, presumably, because the teenage was, which isn't funny.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the adults are kind of roaring.
Yeah, the adults are roaring, the teenagers sitting there going, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Pathetic. This is shit. I hate him.
Is there kind of a character that you're most fond of?
I mean, I love doing Kevin. I love doing Kevin and Perry when we did the film.
Yeah.
But really, I like all the stuff I do with, like, Paul, all the old black and white things and stuff like that. And if I was going to say, right, if we did some sketches called The Writer and the Landlady on Harry and Paul, and I'm the landlady and Paul's the writer, and one thing he has sweets. He's a sweet salesman, and it's like a 1940s very dark falling down hotel, very film noir. And I'm this woman like this, and he says, I'm a sweet salesman. Do you like sweets? And I go, might do. Do you like to try my buttercreams? And she goes, don't mind if I do. And it's all heavily sexual.
Yeah, but not sexual in any way. Just that
No.
lovely kind of
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's me and Paul, and that kind of thing. It's such fun with Paul.
Oh my God, it must
because Paul's so he's so good at being seedy.
Yes.
And I'm so good at being an ugly old woman.
Did you corpse a lot? You must have done.
Yeah. I mean, the worst for corpsing was, you know, if you're doing a live show in front of an audience, that's like Kathy Burt was terrible.
Was she?
Absolutely terrible.
so funny.
Really terrible giggler. The moment we started doing the slobs, I'd just look at her, do the first line, and she'd be like,
Oh my God.
and then we both laugh. It would take ages.
Yeah.
And the first few sketches, I can see they're hopeless, really, because we don't know. We're not thinking. We're just trying to get through the lines because she's been giggling.
How did you meet Kathy?
Auditioned her.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it instant that you were like, oh, it's her?
Yeah, it was
I can
like,
imagine.
because we didn't know anything about acting, you know, Paul and I and Charlie, none of us had acted. So we just overacted and stuff. And we were comedians and she was an actor. So lots of people came in to audition, but she sort of made the character human. It was like, wow, she's actually... It's just one of those things. I can't really explain it, but if I write for me, I know how I'm going to do it. And if I wrote for Kathy, I knew she would do it twice as well, or 3 times as well.
Yeah.
And same with Paul after a bit, once we were doing it, I remember doing a Lee and Lance sketch. And I had him singing opera at the end because he's a brilliant singer. And he was going, oh, it's like showing off. I don't want to do it. I said, do it. Please do it. And he did it. And it was 3 times as good as I'd written it. Just like that. And it's that magic. That's better than anything.
Yes.
Because it's not like you see something in your head. And I think with films these days, I think basically Woody Allen, he obviously had that thing. He'd write something and he'd know that Michael Caine was the right person, for Hannah and her sisters or whatever. He'd know and they'd do it. But nowadays, a lot of it is done on, well, he's a box office person, so he'll be all right for the role.
Yes.
So we were lucky. And Kathy was... she was just great to work with. Same with Perry. She just loved Kevin. She loved Wayne. She loved Considerably Richer, whatever he was called. Yeah, you could tell her. She had a lovely wobble, when she was doing stuff. She's just a very pure, a proper actress.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, because we think of her as a comedian, but you're right when you think about it. It is her. You're able to sort of dick around because she's a properly brilliant actress.
Yeah, and I think it became a pain in the ass. I don't think it was much fun for her doing Kevin and Perry because she'd already sort of got an award at Cannes and I know she's brilliant in it, but she was back doing proper acting.
Gotcha.
She'd got the best actress at Cannes the year before or something. And suddenly she's
That's
back
for Nil
to
by
being
Mouth.
a comedian. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I felt for her. There's nothing I could do, but I did feel for her that she's playing this comic character again.
What is your next brilliant thing?
A brilliant thing.
Yes.
Is wigs.
Wigs?
Well, I've worn a lot of wigs in my time.
Wigs? Does that come from you, a wig?
A wig.
Did you do a character where it was a wig? Where you were...
A wig?
Yes, I sort of seem to remember that you and Paul Whitehouse might have...
Really?
They were using the wig.
A wig?
Yes,
it
feels
sounds like
it
us,
should. Yeah.
Yes, a wig.
Yes, I noticed he was wearing a...
Yes, he's wearing a wig.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think there are enough wigs these days.
Sure.
You look at the football managers these days, they're all bald, except for Arteta.
Yes.
And he's got a wig, obviously. But you look at everyone else, Pep and everyone, and what's he called? Chelsea guy.
Slot, Maresca.
Yes, Slot and Maresca,
Yeah.
Enzo Maresca, people like that. And they're all slapheads. What we used to call slapheads. In the old days, they'd have a syrup.
Yeah.
They'd have a nice syrup.
Which is the best nickname for a wig, isn't it?
Yes.
What is the etymology of that? Syrup.
Syrup and fig.
Syrup and fig. What?
Yeah.
Do those two go together?
Yeah. Well, syrup and fig is... You might have that for lunch or something if you're a Cockney.
Okay, fair.
After you've had your apples and pears, you'd have syrups and figs, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Syrup
And then-
and fig is a laxative, or used to be.
Was it?
Is that right?
Okay. It's a laxative.
Well, there you go. Even better.
So you've got half a laxative on
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would like to see
More wigs.
The problem is though, if you're wearing a wig and it's a tough Tuesday night in Stoke, it's gonna, if it's flapping about, you're gonna have to really glue
Do you know
that.
what? I guess in the old days, what happened, when you look at the old football crowds from the 40s and 50s, everyone wore a hat, didn't they?
Yes.
So that would keep your wig dry.
Yes, the flat
Right.
cap. Yeah,
And your
I think
false
even
teeth.
the keepers as well. It was kind
Everyone.
of they would have that. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd have the great big cap over their syrup. So, but, obviously I haven't got very much hair now. And this is about 2009, a certain comedian, we won't say who he is, told me that I could go to a very nice gentleman who would give me my hair back, you see, as he had got his hair back.
Fair enough.
You see.
And would he lie to you?
I don't think he would.
No.
But, yeah, and I said, well, that's very kind, but I'm too old for all that. And that was like 16 years ago now.
Do you wish
But
you'd gone?
Yeah, I do slightly.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit jealous, really. But now I remember when I was doing my the Harry Enfield show when we started doing Tim Nice But Dim, it was 1990, and then Annie, my makeup, Annie McEwen, the last series we did, which was about 96, she said, now, she put this in. I said, what are you doing? I'm doing Tim. She said, Tim needs this now. And she had a little, it was only for this bit.
Yeah.
But it did make me 5 years younger or 10 years younger immediately.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm just like, yeah.
Is there you sort of your ideal wig to put on?
Yeah, I'd like it. If I could have a wig now, I'd like it to be black with a slight hint of ginge just over this bit.
Okay.
And then keep this like here.
Yeah.
And that would entertain people in the street.
Yes, yes.
You know, there's none of that fun anymore. It's just slapheads everywhere.
Yeah. Well, my friend, who shall remain nameless, but he did the classic kind of COVID, kind of like a lot of people shaved their head during COVID, and then suddenly kind of re-emerged post-lockdown with mains.
Yeah.
And my friend did. We had a great night out where he had to dash home because it started raining. But he looked like Rudy Giuliani. It was just, it was.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
It all kind of came out, and everyone was like, I knew it.
Yeah.
And he had to run home. The shame of it.
Oh, the shame. Oh.
Yeah,
I'm longing to know who your friend is.
It's not. It's just my mate Dave. But
I know Dave.
Yeah, you know Dave. Yeah, exactly, from Barking. Dave from Barking.
With his green shorts.
It's not Dave from.
No.
Have you ever tempted? You've got a good mane.
You don't need wig.
No, not yet.
You've got nice hair.
No, but they're very British wigs, I think.
Yes.
No other country has them as part of their justice system.
No.
That's a
no,
very
you
good
see,
shout. Yeah.
That's true, and they look great.
Yes.
I think in justice. Maybe we should all have that kind of wig, all slapheads. If you had that, you know, like in the 18th
It would improve
century.
the Premier League if the slapheads had to wear judge wigs, because
Wouldn't it?
at the minute it's just long throws and set pieces.
Oh, all this stuff, and you know they make up for it with so many tattoos.
I remember having a thing.
Wig.
I did. I put it was a sort of like an ice blonde platinum like long haired wig.
Yeah.
That I wore at a fancy dress party when I was 19 at university.
Yeah.
And I loved this thing. Just one day, and I got caught looking at myself in the mirror, like tucking it by my ears. I was just,
mulleting it.
Yeah, but
Well, of course, that's been my career. You know, putting on a nicey wig and looking or a git thing or something. I've done a lot of wigs. Done a lot of wigs in my time.
done a lot of wigs. I dressed up as the old gits for the Ropley pram race. You kind of like we used to you would race around in a pram around a village, and you had to stop and have a pint at each pub, even when you were kids. So you'd have like 3 pints.
to, yeah.
It was great. But we dressed as the old gits.
Did you? Wow.
Yeah, and I still.
It
love
used to take us 2 hours to do the makeup.
Did it?
And now I just
Yeah, exactly.
nothing now. Just happens. Gosh, imagine you being an old git.
I loved it though. But it must have been for you as well, Dan. It was that era, wasn't it, where you kind of. Can you remember just watching Harry Enfield and then going into school?
You weren't allowed to.
Every school child in every playground would quote those characters, which must be very surreal for you as a scale.
What we wanted, because we wanted people to watch, and we knew that the kids were the one. You know, it's like for us, it was Kenny Everett for us. I mean, it was Python really, but then it was Kenny Everett doing his Sid Snot and stuff, and it was like quite funny.
Why is it that there hasn't been that kind of sketch show that
They're very expensive. They don't give you the money that you need to make them, and in the end, it just became because you know half the day you spend in makeup,
of course,
changing character and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff involved in different sets and different this and different that. And in the old days, you'd get a sort of reasonable budget, and you can't do it now.
Right.
They just won't put the money in.
There's going to be.
They would for a special like that BBC thing I did.
Yeah.
Got the money for that, but even that was like a third. It was a decent budget, which is about it because it was an hour, I think, and it was about a third of the budget you get for an hour of drama.
Yeah.
Of literally, you know, some drama where everyone's in one costume and everyone's walking around a pretty place. We got a third of that to do about 120 different scenes.
And what's strange about that is, particularly around Christmas, people do want that kind of Christmas comedy.
Yeah.
Did that
maybe
come
I'll
out
try
at
and do
Christmas?
No, I don't. I don't know.
Maybe it's that I saw
can't
it
remember.
on repeats.
Yes, you might have done. Yeah, I can't remember. I got no idea. I can't remember anything anymore. Can you?
It comes and goes.
All I watch at Christmas is is Mortimer and Whitehouse gone fishing.
Yes.
Yes, or Last of the Summer Line, I call it.
Have they?
Two funny little old men falling over.
Have you? I thought that was going to be a coke gag, but did you? I didn't know. But it looks like they might be doing.
No, it's been a long time
Yeah.
since they've done anything like that.
Fair enough.
Services to
Would
nasal
you like
spray.
to go on that though? Just
Yeah,
to
I've
kind of
never
hang
been
out?
asked.
Yeah.
So no, I wouldn't.
No.
I'm glad I haven't been asked.
But it's
Paul knows.
It's such a lovely, gentle hang. That's what's so lovely about that.
The
show.
thing is that they really, when they were starting doing it, I was thinking, God, I hope, because there was obviously Steve and Rob Brydon, and you're thinking, oh God, is it going to be like that? And at the beginning, they laughed a bit too much at each other. I was worried. And then they found their thing, which is Paul is the dad and Bob is the son, really going, so where are we going? And Paul going, we're doing this, and we're doing it that way. And Bob going, oh, I've fallen over,
Yeah.
And it really found that beauty, and they love each other.
Yeah. That Christmas episode where Bob gives him the record of his mum playing is genuinely one of the loveliest things I've ever seen. It was so touching. What is the next brilliant thing?
My next brilliant thing is the king.
Okay.
He's called Charles.
Chuck.
And he's our king. Now, I was never really a royalist. In fact, I've never really thought about it.
1977, you were definitely
Yes,
anti,
exactly.
yeah.
I definitely wasn't then. And I've never...
Imagine if there was CCTV footage.
Yeah, stuff that you believe. And, but then I became a royalist on the day that Liz Truss became Prime Minister. She came out of Downing Street and made that speech. And it was like she was, the what do you call it, work experience girl, had gone out to do the microphone and the cameras for those people. So she was saying this stuff, and I thought, my God, that could be our head of state. If we didn't have a king, a monarch, she would be the head of state. And then I thought, God, and Boris would have been our head of state. And and I think the king... Well, she killed the Queen the next day, didn't she? She met the Queen, Liz Truss.
Yes.
And then the Queen thought, I've had it with life. And then now we have a king.
Yes.
And, he's much more intelligent than Liz Truss or Boris Johnson. He's done a lot more in his life. He knows a lot more. And I think it's a good thing that he's our head of state rather than a politician. That's all, really.
Yeah.
It's all I've got to say.
Yeah.
But I've played him, and he thinks the Windsors is very cruel, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's right. I mean, it is quite cruel. If you take it that way.
Yes.
I never took it that way.
I imagine they're quite defensive, though, because I often thought that about, like, when it's something like that, it's a comedy, so it's going to, it's...
But it wasn't, like, nasty, like...
Sure.
What it was like going, okay... If everything the tabloids had ever written was true,
yes,
well, base that on that. And obviously it's all rubbish, so it's got nothing to do with the real people.
But that's what's interesting. But going into it, it's a comedy. Whereas I think something like The Crown, The Crown is fascinating because it says at the beginning that a lot of this is kind of made up.
Yeah.
But nobody believes that. It must be incredibly frustrating if you're watching it and it's this serious drama. I didn't fucking do that. You know what I mean? It would be wild, given that has definitely reprogrammed the way that a lot of people think.
Yeah.
About the royal family.
So do they like them or not now?
I would have thought they hate it.
No. Do people like the royal family or not? No.
I think they're massively. I think Andrew looms large over the royals, and I think
he does.
I think all the inheritance tax stuff is difficult. So he should have paid 148 million when the Queen died.
Really?
But he didn't. And I think I
don't like that.
No, but when they're talking about modernising the monarchy,
yeah.
I think stuff like that would be a really interesting thing to do. To just kind of
Well, maybe that would be good. As I say, to me, it's just having a head of state who's not a politician. And but I wonder what would happen if we formed the King's Party and said, okay, what I'm going to do if I get elected, the King's Party, I'm the leader of the King's Party, we'll get our 600 MPs. And then in my audience once a week, I'll ask the King what he thinks I should do, and then I'll do it.
Mm.
And then after 4 years, I mean, of a parliament, I wonder if the country would be in a better state.
That's an interesting thing.
Or
First
a
things
worse
first,
one.
I need you to kill Nicholas Witchell.
Yes, kill that bugger.
Yeah, he's not a fan of Witchell.
But after 4 years,
but once he's done
you know,
his...
would it be good?
Yeah, no, it's an
and
interesting...
it might be actually, you know, and if it wasn't, we could chop his head off.
Well,
He's called Charles.
He's very green as well. That would be interesting.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
He was there years before everyone else.
That's true.
With all that stuff.
Yeah.
I can tell you about the popularity of the royal family.
Oh, great.
Why?
Because he's done some research.
Well, I thought-
What's that mean?
I thought you'd be interested to know that, like, it's gone down a bit recently with the Andrew stuff, but still, significantly, most of Britons do like and want the royal family.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's at about 65%
Oh, yeah.
at
Yeah.
the moment, and that's
Yeah.
gone down from a general steadiness from 2012.
So basically, if we formed the King's Party, we would win the election.
Yes.
Yes.
And then say, okay, you've got 4 years. Do it right, or we'll chop your head off.
He looks
in
like...
Westminster.
He looks like he might be quite volatile. That's like, think about all the stuff with the fountain pen. He looks like, but you know, but he's got a bit of, he's tetchy. That's the only problem.
Yeah, but Jesus Christ, the poor guy, his mum had just died.
Sure, and the
There's
pen
all
wouldn't
this
work.
stuff. He's got to go all around the bloody world saying his thank you. He's had nothing for 4 days, and people going, sorry, your mum has sadly passed away. And he's thinking, I do wish they'd just say she died, not passed away. So annoying. She did, for God's sake. And then he has that bloody thing with the thing, and it was the last straw wasn't it, for him.
But
I mean, I'd be like that.
Agreed, but I think, but what you just sort of articulated, if someone was a bit honest and spoke like that, that seems to be the major flaw in politics at the minute. That it's peaking with the hands, irrespective of
Yeah.
what side you're on.
Well,
And
it's not, because people think that Nigel Farage is a regular guy.
Yeah.
You know, he stands up for people like us. Well, I don't think that.
What is the?
I think.
Well, there's an extraordinary story. What's the guy worked for Reform that was basically being paid by the Russian government?
Yeah, there's yeah.
Is it? But apparently it's and he's taken it. He's going to prison.
Yes.
So,
that was ridiculous.
But nobody is really kind of pursuing that. The sort of mainstream story.
Well,
is
of course
the
they're
rise of reform, and will they do it? And who knows?
Of
And
course they won't, because all the people who run GB News and all that stuff have made a fortune out of, you know, the country, and they've done nothing other than buy and sell companies and strip them of their workers and put in foreign workers and sell the company on. They've made an absolute fortune, these people. And they want to make another fortune by saying it's not our fault, it's the people coming over on the boats. It's their fault.
yeah.
And you think, well, this is absolute rubbish, it's your fault, but they control the media.
But what's extraordinary as well to talk about it is like someone like Farage is leaning into that kind of like sort of Britannia, and you know, I imagine he's very much in favour of the royal family. But Farage and Charles couldn't be more dissimilar.
No.
That's an interesting thing.
No, yeah.
That if they
And that stupid nostalgia for a Britain that's already gone.
Yeah.
We've always been a nation of mongrels, and you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm half Irish.
Oh, yeah.
I'm half Irish.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my mother's parents were.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So you know, we've always been, and they were it's always those people. It's never the rich. And then they go, they're Labour's putting up taxes. The rich don't pay their taxes.
Yeah.
They don't pay 45% plus national insurance. You know, these people like Paul Marshall, I bet they don't pay 45%.
well
And
only,
so they want to blame everyone
Yeah.
for everything. Well, boo-hoo.
Yeah.
I like the king. Let's elect him.
But you're right. It just feels like although there is, I was listening to something today. It was very interesting. Everything from Twitter comes from 10% of people.
Yeah.
So you have this 80% really. So let's say it's 5% far right, 5% far left. 80% are just looking up, going, "When are my parents going to start rowing? Stop
Yeah.
rowing."
Yeah.
And we're kind of, because papers are dying, they then go with those two extremes as
Yes.
this is the news, when actually it's just 10% speaking for everybody.
Yes.
And
it's the binaries who
Yeah.
speak. You're right or wrong. And the rest of us who think life is grey.
Do you find it frustrating looking at this sort of state of the world?
Yes, it's really frightening.
Yeah.
We should have gone in, before Putin got in, we should have put all our governments. The European Union should have gone into Ukraine put our governments there. So, well, we're going to run our governments from Ukraine until the Russians go away with a few troops, and then the invasion went. It's really frightening, and then Trump is frightening, and he's just Chamberlain. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's got no idea, and it's terrifying. Anyway.
Onwards.
Yes, we
yes.
mustn't talk about that,
No,
Russell.
okay, fine.
That's not very funny, is it?
Well, but there's comedy within it. That's what's.
Is there? Yeah.
I think there's lots.
Oh dear. I'm sorry. I can't be funny about it.
But you. I was just thinking then.
Putin. I hate him.
Yeah.
And I know. Yeah, I hate Putin. Trump is awful and an idiot and all that.
I'm
but
trying
Putin
to think.
I hate because he's a murderer.
Yeah.
And he's getting away with murder.
Yeah. But I'm just trying to think then, you've, like, broadly speaking, never really been sort of political in your sort of characters.
No, I don't do that. But when I started, there were a lot of people preaching to the converted.
Right, yeah.
And that's what people like, especially the middle class. They like people. There were lots of people going, aren't the Tories awful? And then the audience going, yeah, they're awful. Isn't Mrs. Thatcher awful? Yeah. And I thought, well, what's the point of that in just sort of making people feel good about themselves? And I think that's what Twitter does, really, isn't it? I'm not on Twitter. I don't know, but it feels like it's tribes going, I'm better than you.
A character like Loadsamoney is gently political, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's something about the
Yeah,
time.
but it isn't, like, you're right, it isn't that kind of, if you're kind of come up in that, Margaret Thatcher and all that, it's probably quite, I often think at the minute, like, the world is crying out for like a Steve Martin type,
Yeah.
someone that's just all like Vic and Bob, someone that's just super silly.
Yeah, just daft.
Yeah, there isn't a huge amount of that.
Can we just have a rest?
Yeah,
please.
Yeah,
from all this stuff.
Did you know about the King's football record?
No.
He was.
Is he a player?
He was captain of the football team.
At Oxford?
No, at Cheam, when he was at boarding school in Cheam.
Right.
Sutton.
When was he at boarding school in Cheam and Sutton? Before he went to
Gordonston.
Really?
And he was the football captain. And in the season that he was the captain, they scored 4, conceded 82.
Ooh.
So I don't know, when you talk about his leadership qualities.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as I say, if it doesn't work, we'll chop his head off.
Yes. What is your final brilliant thing?
Assisted dying.
Assisted dying?
Yes.
Right.
Really, what I mean by assisted dying, it's the only conversation I've actually... My mum now has a bit of a carer who comes in and sort of does it a little bit. And her husband came round. He lives across the road, and he just came to my mum's house. This is in Petworth in Sussex. He hadn't seen her for a bit, so he knocked on the door, Russell. He's called Russell.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And he knocked on the door and said, I haven't seen your mum for a bit. I said, oh, come in. And the paper was there, and it was the day after the first reading of the Assisted Dying Act. So it was the front page news. And I said, what do you think about this, Russell? And he said, oh, my wife's a carer. I don't think I really agree with that. What do you think? And I said, well, I'm really pro it. I said, I've got a long list of people I want to assist to die. And he went, oh, if you put it that way, I think I'm on your side. And that's the only political argument I've ever won, I think, in one line. I just said, so, when they pass it, litter bugs.
Litter bugs?
I hate litter.
Right.
So when they pass the Assisted Dying Act,
yes,
I'm going to assist all litter bugs to die.
Yes, yes.
I've got a rope already.
Yeah.
I'll sneak up behind you.
Definitely.
And I won't go to prison anymore.
No.
Who would you assist to die?
What?
It's not really your thing, is it? Good news and favourite things. Brilliant things.
I tell you what pisses me off. It's like, and you see it very seldom now, but used to be this guy at Tesco where I used to live. He would throw the money at the cashier.
Ugh.
And it
Yes.
properly went through me. It's like,
Kneel down.
but it's like, pick it out of that, but just on the conveyor belt. And I tell you what does get me.
You see, just say kneel down, and then I'll garrote him with my rope.
It's very interesting what brings out that kind of rage that I saw. Like, it was either a dad or a grandparent belt his grandson or son recently at Heathrow, and the kid was about 6, and he was just being a bit silly, and he just got a proper whack. And I haven't seen that in a while, and I was amazed at my reaction. I was very much kind of like, but as if that my wife went, well, that's going to fix it, isn't it? Well, you're going to beat him up now.
Yeah.
But it brought out something very visceral in me.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, man. It's
who else? What about you, Dan?
How about you, Dan? You kill it.
Anyone who's late.
Yep.
And then are we getting into races or not?
Races. Races, yes.
The Swedish IKEA.
Swedish.
Anyone? Yeah, it's impossible not to get slightly xenophobic if you're putting anything from IKEA together.
Well, you see, I think you're stupid to go to IKEA. What you have to do is buy it online, and then they deliver it, and then you're not in a bad mood.
Our mutual friend Andy, she told me a terrific story. I think it was about you, and I don't know if we're allowed to say this, and it's the perils of the COT microphone. Is that you?
Yes.
Yeah. So you went up to see the new baby, and this new baby, as some new babies can be, was a peculiar looking thing, and you and your partner were saying, that it was an ugly baby, and you didn't realise that everyone downstairs in the kitchen could hear.
Gosh.
Is that true?
Well, the one I do know that was really good, was this, the poor grandmother, our children. One of them was saying she'd been looking after all three of them.
Yeah.
And one of them was being very, very rotten. And she'd... At lunchtime, and she said, I want a yogurt. I want yogurt. So she gave her a yogurt, and she just threw the yogurt on the floor. It's a 2-year-old. And Granny went, you naughty girl, like that, and then felt terrible because she'd slapped her on the thing. And of course, the child goes, puts them up for their sleep, afternoon nap. And then Mum rings up and says, hi, how are the kids? And Granny's going, oh, they're great, they're brilliant. In the background goes this thing saying, Granny should not hit little children. He's like, poor Granny, caught red-handed.
Gosh. I really enjoyed that, Harry. What a joy. Ladies and gentlemen, that was fantastic. The brilliant Harry Enfield.
Thank you